What was it like moving from the pit box to the TV booth? Maybe a little less busy, but what was it like as well getting to work with two legends of the industry?
Yeah, I mean, I never worked with Darrell in any kind of racing form. We never worked together. I knew Mike, and from 1995 through 2000, periodically I would do an Xfinity Series race in the broadcast booth, a truck race maybe on a Saturday before the day of the Cup race, maybe on an off weekend, which we had a lot more off weekends back in. Actually, at Phoenix, I think it might have been 1999, maybe in 2000, Mike and Darrell and I actually did an Xfinity Series race. Darrell was still driving, I was still a crew chief, and they had Darrell and I do it as a guest. But I never saw myself doing anything in the sport but being a crew chief. I figured when they put me 6 feet under, I'd still be saying 4 tires, next stop. It was the hardest decision I ever had to make. Something my wife and I, and even my 2 oldest kids, I wanted them to be a part of this decision. Um, there was 2 or 3 reasons I finally made the decision to do it. They offered me the deal in the spring of 2000, spinning ahead for 2001, which when the Fox deal was going to start. And I still, by July, early August, I had not made my mind up. And they were calling now saying, look, we need an answer. And so I still had to talk to Richard Childress because I still had a couple of years left on my contract with him. But at the end of the day, it was not like it was a lot more money. In fact, it was the same amount of money, which honestly, Samuel, I was glad of that. That let me lay that aside and make the decision based on what's best for me and what's best for the future of my family. The reasons I ended up doing it, I felt like that if I didn't at least try it, I'd always second guess, wonder what it'd have been like. And I knew I may never get another shot at it because it was going to be a very small group of people that was going to do this. And then the other thing, they were offering me a 2-year deal. And at the end of 2 years, if I didn't like them, maybe they didn't like me, I could always go back to being a crew chief. But I've got to say, it's a decision I made that I've never looked back on. And, most people go through life and they don't really have, I think, one fulfilling career. And to sit here today, and I'll be 65 in January, and I've been in the sport 43 years, I barely, and I mean barely, have a high school diploma, barely. To know now that I've had 2 very fulfilling careers in the sport of NASCAR, trust me, I pinch myself every single day. But to do it with Mike and Darrell, it didn't take long to realize the chemistry was there. I think we knew it before we ever left Daytona in February of 2001. It almost reminded me of some of my better relationships with drivers that I worked with, like Davey Allison, like Ernie Irvin. I think it didn't take long that Mike and Darrell and we got to the point we could finish each other's sentences. We knew what each other was thinking. And to know we were together, we were teammates for 19 years until Darrell retired, but we were together in that broadcast booth for 15 years. That's almost unprecedented. You just don't hear that, see that with a broadcast team. And I'm not a boastful guy, but I feel like those 15 years, Mike and Darrell and I set the bar, and basically y'all have at it. See if you can top it.